In the wake of the rebellions of 1837, Lord Durham recommended two things. First, he recommended that Upper and Lower Canada be joined and form one colony. Upper Canada would become Canada West, and Lower Canada would become Canada East. This was accomplished with the Act of Union of 1840. The second recommendation involved a restructuring of government from the existing system to a new system referred to as responsible government. This, however, was not well received by those already in power. The biggest fear was that responsible government would weaken Canada and Great Britain and perhaps strengthen Britain's political enemies such as France and the United States. This would all change, however, in 1846 when the British government repealed the Corn Laws. These laws were part of the Navigation Act. They gave preferential treatment to Britain's colonies when it came to trade. The end of the Corn Laws caused economic depression throughout the colonies. With the colonies now on their own, new trading partners were needed if Canada was to survive. In 1846, the British government appointed James Bruce Lord Elgin as the Governor-General of Canada. His first act was to create responsible government. This change in colonial government did help to prevent a revolution like the one in the Americas in 1775. Sir John A. Macdonald, one of the major architects of Confederation, felt that a federation of colonies was the only way that Canadians would survive in this new world. Until 1867, the colonies of British North America were separated and independent except for the province of Canada. While many were opposed to Macdonald's idea, after the Corn Laws were repealed, Confederation gained popularity. Many feared the loss of power and independence through Confederation, but also recognized that strength in numbers and a stronger unified economy would be beneficial to everyone involved. Confederation also offered a way to expand west by annexing the territory owned by the Hudson's Bay Company and the Northwest Territories, while at the same time denying the United States access to these areas. Fear of American expansion north was a reality as Britain had supported the South during the American Civil War and feared that the Americans would retaliate by expanding north. Two conferences were held in 1864, the first in Charlottetown, PEI, the second in Quebec. These conferences discussed many topics from government structure to the role each of the colonies would play in a new confederated Canada. The Quebec Conference concluded with 72 resolutions which provided a blueprint for Canada. It outlined a strong federal government and individual provincial governments that would retain many powers. These 72 resolutions were passed by the House of Lords and signed by Queen Victoria in England to ratify and create the country of Canada on July 1, 1867. Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia would form the beginning of what would become Canada. While this country would in many ways be independent, aspects such as foreign affairs and constitutional matters would still need to be ratified by the British government.